Hello, welcome back to the You at Your Best podcast. I'm your host, Morgan. So, for the past couple of weeks, I have been really struggling with my mental health. I think I've been going through a bit of a spiritual awakening, and I have been, for seemingly no reason at all, feeling this intense sense of doom almost. My chest has been hurting really bad. It feels like nonstop, and it's been really hard because I'm trying a lot to heal and grow, but truth is, whenever you're going through that growing process and healing process, there are times where things are just not the best. And although it's important for us to go through that and feel those negative emotions, it's also important to remind ourselves that everything is okay. Remind ourselves of the things that we should be grateful for. Letting ourselves enjoy life, even in the process of growing and healing. I have been meeting with my psychologist, and we've been uncovering things that are really difficult for me, traumas that are really difficult. And because of that, it's been really hard for me to have a positive mindset. So I wanted to make this week's episode more positive. I want to talk about showing gratitude for the small things in life, being grateful for the things that we do have instead of focusing on the things that we don't have. I saw a quote on Pinterest that actually inspired this episode, and it's, "You invite more miracles into your life by being grateful for everything you already have." And reading that quote really helped me remember, yes, I do need to feel these negative emotions and go through this, but that doesn't mean that I have to stay stuck in them. I'm allowed to distract myself and make myself happy even through hard times. And I wanted to make this episode because I want people to know that that is okay. If you're going through a really hard time, if you're mourning something, mourning the loss of your old self, mourning trauma that you've been through, mourning a person that was in your life, you're allowed to do things that make you happy while also feeling and going through that mourning process. You don't have to be sad and negative all the time. So I want to start off by talking about what being grateful means. So being grateful means noticing the small things that bring us joy, bring us peace, and take away stress from our life. Noticing those things that take some of the load off of us, that make us smile, focusing more on those things rather than focusing on the negatives. Because in my experience, I am going through a lot right now, and I do feel this intense sense of doom almost. That's the only way that I can describe it. And it comes up a lot. But instead of focusing on that, I choose to focus on the things that bring me joy. And those things that bring us joy, they can be things that others do for us, qualities we love about ourselves or others, opportunities given to us, things we find beautiful, like the sky, trees, people, animals. Being grateful means noticing all of those tiny things that we probably wouldn't really pay much attention to in our everyday life. And I think during times where we're going through a really hard, stressful, depressing part of our life, that's whenever it's the most important to be grateful and express gratitude and notice all of these small things. Pay attention to the things that the people in your life do for you that take off some of the load. If you're like me and you're on your healing journey and sometimes maybe it feels like you're not healing as fast as other people, be grateful for how far you've come. If you've been feeling stressed out and you feel like you haven't been getting a break, you've just been going and going, find something within that to be grateful for. And of course, take breaks any chance that you get, but during the times that you can't, find something, literally anything to be grateful for, even if it has nothing to do with the exact moment that you're in. Like an example I have is I've been working a lot here lately. My boss has been putting me on the schedule a lot. And because of that, I have been working more days than I haven't been. Last week, I only had 2 days off. I work at a very physically demanding job, which means that I am very physically exhausted and I feel like I am being overworked a lot. And also, it's really sad to me that I don't get to spend as much time with my baby. But something that I can be grateful for is the fact that going to work and being away from her gives me a chance to miss her, which makes me feel more connected to her. It gives me the chance to remember to be present in the moments that I do see her, because I don't get to see her as often. And in my mind, quality time is way better than quantity of time. I don't need to spend every waking minute with my baby. What I need to do is take advantage of the time that I do have with her. And with me seeing my psychologist here lately and me really going through this healing process, it's made me feel a little bit guilty, because a part of me feels like I'm focusing so much on myself and barely focusing on my baby, or barely focusing on my boyfriend. I don't have as much time for either of them. I spend a lot of my time by myself doing my own thing, finding my place in this world, discovering myself, going to therapy, being at work. I spend a lot of time by myself, and for a little bit I was starting to feel really guilty about that. I was starting to feel like I'm putting too much into myself and not enough into other people. But that isn't true. Because I'm doing this for myself, I know that whenever I am with them, I show up as a better version of me, versus if I don't take care of myself at all and I'm constantly showing up for them and never showing up for myself, I show up as a really unregulated, stressed out, even resentful version of myself, and that's not who I want to be. So yeah, maybe I don't spend as much time with either of them right now, but that's okay, because I take advantage of the time that I do have with them. I feel so close to them and so connected to them because the times that I'm spending with them are valuable, rather than just spending time with them for no reason. I am spending my free time focusing on me, which means that I am able to be there for them in the ways that I always wanted to be. I am able to show up as the best version of myself, and that's what I'm going to focus on. That I am grateful for this whole healing process that I'm going through and all of this stuff that I'm doing to better myself, because it's only enhancing my relationships. I'm grateful for the fact that I am doing things that adults do that I have always been so scared of doing, like going out and doing things by myself. I'm grateful for the small things in life, things that I find beautiful. Here lately, I have been taking so many pictures of the sky because I don't know what's going on, but the sky is just so pretty this year. Like all summer, it has been so stunning to look at it, and I have a million pictures of it in my camera roll. I am becoming that person that whenever I notice something that makes me really happy or I think is really pretty or really beautiful, I take a picture of it because it makes me happy, and I want to document things that make me happy. I want to remember the things that make me happy whenever I go back and look through my camera roll, taking pictures of my boyfriend and our baby, taking pictures of my outfits that I really like, taking pictures of my Starbucks drinks that I get because I've been so obsessed with coffee here lately. I think I'm becoming a bit of a coffee addict, honestly. A couple weeks ago, my baby had a seizure while we were at the mall. She ended up having to go to the hospital. She started getting a really high fever, and it was a really scary situation. But even though I don't want something like that to ever happen to her again, and I hope she doesn't have any more seizures, I'm also grateful for how much it connected us as a family, how I felt a deeper connection with her and with my boyfriend, how it felt like it really brought us together even more than we already were. And also, after we left the hospital and we were on our way home, I was just sitting in the backseat of the car. My boyfriend was driving. She was asleep in her car seat. It was night. It was dark outside. And I was just laying my head on the window. And that was the first time in a really long time in my life where I was truly present. I truly felt like I was in my own body. And it was the weirdest feeling. And I'm so grateful that I got to have that experience because it really kick-started this journey for me. And of course it wasn't the beginning. The beginning was years ago, but the journey that I'm on right now was kick-started by that, and that would have never happened if that situation didn't happen, if our family wasn't brought closer together, if I wasn't feeling so grateful for everything that we had. So that's why it's so important to focus on the positives, because that situation could have easily traumatized me, but instead I focused on the positives and the things that I was grateful for, and it only helped me grow as a person. Being grateful is one of the most powerful things that we can do to enhance our life, because what we focus on is what enhances. What we believe to be true is what's true. My boyfriend and I, we are a normal couple. We have struggles. Sometimes we fight We argue sometimes. And I used to be really bad about focusing on all of those things. Always focusing on the negatives, always focusing on a tiny misunderstanding or disagreement that we had that really doesn't matter in the scheme of things. I would focus so heavily on those things that it made me start to believe that I was in a bad, unhealthy relationship. It made me start to believe that he was a bad guy because I was focusing so much on tiny things that didn't even matter. But whenever I started focusing on the good things, it made me realize how much him and I have, how our relationship is the most fulfilling relationship in my life and only brings more joy. Our family only brings more joy into my life. And I taught myself how to stop being in such a negative headspace through learning to be grateful for things. Focusing on the positives instead of focusing on the negatives that don't even matter. Of course, there are times where he might do or say something that hurts my feelings, and if I think it's important enough, I'll say something, but most of the time it's not. Most of the time it's me misunderstanding what he meant by something, and I feel grateful for who he is as a person. I used to expect me out of him, but we can't expect ourselves out of other people. The reason why we have other people in our lives is because we need people who are different from us. And of course, having similarities is a great thing and it's really important, but I think relationships are less about expecting someone to love us how we need to be loved and more about learning how they love and appreciating how they love. And of course, it's totally okay to want to be loved in your love language, but also understanding that just because they're not loving you in your love language all the time does not mean that they don't love you. Noticing how they show love and really appreciating that will only make them start to show you love more. It'll only make you start to realize how grateful you are for the people that you have in your life. Being grateful for the small things is so important, noticing all of the tiny things that we love in our lives. But it's also important to be grateful for the big thing. Being grateful for our partners for showing us love how they show us love. Being grateful for family members or friends who take some of the mental load off of us. And expressing that, telling them how we feel, giving them compliments. Whenever we are given compliments, we feel good. When people admire our qualities, we feel good. It makes us want to do that more. It makes us feel good about that quality, so we want to continue expressing that quality. Using positive reinforcement is the best way to enhance your relationships. Whenever you focus on the good in people, they rise to your standards. Whenever you're commenting on all of the things that they do good, they're just going to continue doing more good things because you're making them feel good about themselves. If we focus on the negatives and constantly point out the negatives, constantly criticize them, all that does is teach them that they're never going to be good enough and they can never do anything right when it comes to you. So they're either going to stop wanting to be around you because it makes them uncomfortable, or they're going to give up. One of the quickest ways to make someone lose hope is to constantly make them believe that they're bad. So instead of focusing on the things that the people in our lives don't do for us, focus on what they do for us. If you notice something that they do for you or a quality that they have that you love, point it out because they will start to act more like that. Whenever people start to feel comfortable and confident and happy within themselves, within the relationships with the people that they care about, that's whenever they start being the best version of themselves. Okay, next I want to talk more about being grateful for the small things. I talked a little bit about this, but I want to talk more about it. Being grateful for the small things means being grateful for literally anything that is good in life. Being grateful for the fact that you woke up in the morning. Maybe you have to go to work and you really don't want to, but being grateful for the fact that you woke up because not everyone gets to wake up. Being grateful for the fact that you can walk. Not everyone can walk. Being grateful for the fact that you have a roof over your head. Not everyone has a roof over their head. Being grateful for, I just thought of an example, like say it's your wedding day and you're so excited to get married and it's supposed to be a sunny day, but it starts raining in the middle of it. You think it's going to ruin the pictures. But instead of focusing on how everything is ruined and your life is over because your wedding wasn't perfect, Focus on the fact that you get to marry the person that you love. You get to be with this person for the rest of your lives. You get to start a family together if that's what you want to do. You get to have a cool story to tell people, to tell your future kids, or you get to always remember that on your wedding day it rained, which is actually a sign of good luck. You get to look back at pictures that are probably beautiful because you're kissing in the rain. In my mind, everything that happens to us happens for a reason. So if it rains on your wedding day and you get drenched and your makeup is completely messed up, that was supposed to happen. Maybe that was a lesson for you. Maybe instead of getting upset at the fact that your makeup is messed up and nothing is going as planned and you don't have control of the day anymore, maybe you're supposed to learn from that moment. Maybe it happened because whatever you believe in is trying to teach you that you don't have to control everything and you can't control everything, to let loose and relax a little bit. Some other examples could be there's a huge mess in your apartment or your house and you were so overwhelmed by the mess. Be grateful for the fact that you have enough stuff to be able to make a mess, because there are some people who have nothing. If the dishes are piling up in the sink and it's overwhelming, be grateful for the fact that if there are dishes in the sink, that means that you had enough food to eat. You have enough dishes in your home to be able to eat off of those dishes. Some people don't have access to food as much as we do, and some people don't even have access to plates and silverware and cups to eat with. Some people have to make those things themselves and find them. We take advantage of that, but some people don't have that. And while I don't want to sit here and say that you being overwhelmed is a bad thing, I don't want to say that at all. If you're overwhelmed, please acknowledge that. I'm not saying that if you're overwhelmed, you have to just tell yourself that you're not allowed to be overwhelmed because all of these other people have these things. That can put you into a headspace of feeling like you are not allowed to feel how you feel. It's important to feel your emotions. It's important to remember that if you're overwhelmed, that's okay. You can take a break for yourself, but also it's not as big of a deal as we make it out to be, because there's a million things that we could be grateful for. And to me, whenever I'm overwhelmed by my kitchen being a huge mess, finding something to be grateful for and something to put me in a more positive headspace, that really helps me get to a place to where I'm not so overwhelmed and I'm able to actually clean it up and get things done. Okay, I have one more thing that I want to talk about before I end this episode, and that's to fake it until you make it. We, a lot of the time, don't start off naturally being someone that's grateful for everything. A lot of us have to teach ourselves how to be grateful, and it can be really overwhelming thinking, like, I don't know where to even begin with this. It feels forced. But it's okay if it's forced. It's okay if you're forcing yourself to be grateful for things and notice things that you wouldn't ever notice before. Sometimes it can kind of feel inauthentic even, but that's how you get to where you want to be. You force it and fake it until you get there. Force yourself to notice things that you normally wouldn't. Make it a challenge even, like challenge yourself to see how many things you can be grateful for in one day. Make it fun, like keep a notebook or write in your notes app on your phone every little tiny thing that you notice that you're grateful for. Keep on doing that, keep on building that skill until it becomes natural. For this episode, I think I actually have another journal prompt. I want you to think of 20 things that you are grateful for. Write all of them down and then do that for a couple of days in a row. Like every single night, sit down and write down 20 things that you're grateful for a week or 3 days, however long you want to do it. Or you could also, anytime you notice something that you're grateful for, write it down. The second one is probably better for me. It helps me be grateful in my everyday life, but whichever one works for you, if you want to wait until the end of the night or if you want to write it down as you're going through life, whichever one works for you. But that's your journal prompt for this week or assignment, whatever you want to call it. And that's it for this week's episode. It's a pretty short episode, but I think it's a really important one. And I really hope this put you in a more positive headspace. I really hope it maybe helped you get out of a rut. Maybe helped you remember that everything is okay. that no matter what we're going through in life, things may be hard, but that doesn't mean that they're bad. Hope you remember that even during the hard times, we can still find happiness and joy. Okay, thank you so much for listening. If my podcast has benefited you in any way, please share it with people. Please share it on your Instagram story or with your friends. Leave me a review on Spotify and Apple. That would be so helpful. And help me get my podcast out there to people that really need to hear stuff like this, that really are struggling and really needed to listen to this. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next Sunday. Oh, also, I'm so excited. I am going to be making an episode about fall time, and well, I already recorded it. Actually, I recorded it in July because I started getting excited about fall in July. I think I recorded it before my baby's birthday, and she turned 1 on July 9th. So it's been a while ago. I'm still not sure if I'm going to use that one or if I'm going to re-record it, but I'm really excited to put that episode out. I've been waiting and waiting. I still haven't edited it. It's on Audacity right now as I'm recording this episode, but I'm really excited to put that out, and I just wanted to let you guys know it'll be coming soon, so stay tuned for that. It's another positive episode. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling now and go. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next Sunday.